And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the universe. It is I, John D, and my wife,
Kanika.
And we are doing Too Much Podcast. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good.
What was all of that?
I don't know. It's just, dang, can I say I'm feeling pretty good?
No, you was like, I'm feeling pretty good.
I am feeling pretty good.
It's pretty good. You know, I know we were talking about something prior, and that's what I wanted to kind of start the button, because we were talking about education and just talking about the generation. You believe, well, from what I gathered, you believe that this generation is a little more wild.
Yeah, I feel like the line between adult and student or child is so different. Well, maybe not so different but it's just more, there are more children who feel like the line is blurry. Before, we used to have kids, like I used to teach middle school. We used to have kids that would skate the line and act like maybe they were on your level. It wasn't really like you a person, I'm a person. I can say whatever I want to say. But now it feels like, even in listening to you talking about your students, you tell me the number of kids you have to give a story about is just different than the number of kids that I used to have a story about year to year. Like I would have maybe one or two kids that I'd be like, this is probably somebody I would have to fight in a parking lot. But when you talk about some of these kids, it's like it's your new level of patience, I think, that makes it bearable. But some of these kids and the things they be having to say, I'm like, golly. And I know that the internet is different now than it was when I was teaching. So you see way, way more.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have seen a recent clip where it was a young girl and she ends up swinging on a teacher for a phone or something the teacher was holding back from her. And they end up fighting like girls in a club. And the teacher ends up getting her on the ground and is like holding her head against the ground. And she's telling the kids to call a teacher, call somebody in there. And nobody's really moving. And in my head, I'm like, I couldn't imagine really having to fight my students.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine having to make the decision, like, if they walk up on me, am I ready? If they swing, am I ready? Because that was one of the things that when I watch stuff, I'll be thinking to myself, it's the moment where you really have to make a decision. Because as a person, as a human being, who your first instinct is to protect yourself or defend yourself, it's hard to look at somebody and say they're 13 when they come in there swinging everything they have at you. And what are you supposed to do? Like, at some point, your instinct is going to tell you, I'm about to do something.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, like this week when you were talking about your experiences with your students and how, when we were younger, what it would have looked like being a teacher in those situations versus now.
Yeah.
And it's a little different. But at the same time, there's so many more. It just feels like, I don't know who's raising these kids. No shade to the parents, because, sometimes we are struggling with our own thing. And it's hard for us to really know how to parent when we lacked parenting ourselves. And when we're so wrapped up in our own mental anguish of whatever is going on that we can't even pay attention to what's happening on around us with our kids. But it just seems a lot. Education is not only dangerous because of the possibility of mass shootings, but just the individual incidents with kids who they don't have the emotional regulation that you feel like they should have.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in very stressful times. And what was it? Last episode, you was just like, for those who are leaving education, thank you for your service. Like it's for real, like serving. You are serving. And it's like, thank you for your service. I need to salute you on your way out the door. because there are a lot of people who couldn't have done the time that you did, to educate kids. Because when you're teaching, you're not really just a teacher. You're a social worker.
Oh, yeah.
You're a nurse. You're a mediator between children and parents sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And there are other people in the school that are assigned these titles. You got a school nurse. You got a, school psychologist. You got counselor, guidance counselors and stuff. But
all kids don't have access to that, though.
They don't.
You gotta qualify for those services.
You do. And on top of that, some of these kids won't even trust the people with the titles.
Correct.
It has to be a certain person. So you might be that special teacher, that person that they connect with. And then now you've become 4 different titles to this kid because you're the only one that they'll talk to.
Just listening to that, I'll tell you a story. This young lady, I told you before, I said she kind of opened up to me, and she was like, "Mr. Lewis, I think you can listen to this." And I'm like, "What?" She was like, "My friend tried to kill herself." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "She's 9.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Why?" She was like, her mother says that she's the reason why they're living like this, and she wish she wasn't born. And I was just like, where are you as an adult where you were even able to have kids, for you to have the mindset to say that? Because she's been a parent for at least 9 years.
At least. At least.
And I'm like, so I was thinking about all of my years and why this year is so monumental for me. Like I said, that the kids were the best kids, and maybe they're not. Maybe I am approaching it completely differently, and it's not fair to say that these are the best group of kids, because the amount of baggage that these kids have individually by far surpass any other group of kids. So maybe I'm out of line, because like I said, the way that I approach it has caused me to see a different result that I didn't give my kids in the past. But the reason why is because they're able to talk to me, and I can hear their individual stories, and I'm like, golly. Because even the kids before, when the ones that I developed relationships with didn't have these impactful events that happen in their life, I'm like, golly. Like I've had kids that had parents die, but you know what I'm saying? And that's a different type of trauma that a kid has to figure out, because even the father, that's tough for the father, and I remember in Atlanta, one of the worst stories I heard, like the mother was outside of the school building looking for drugs. And so the kids were getting off or walking up to the school, and they know who the mother is. And like the young lady has to play like it's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's her real life. And and we wonder how come kids act the way that they do. But if you don't protect the kid is going to just be a kid trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, most certainly. And then the other thing is I didn't personally grow up with those experiences, but I know that there are kids that have talked to me about their lives. Me having been a foster care social worker, I've known a lot about kids' lives, and they'll talk to me, and I'm sitting here like, I don't even feel like I'm equipped to emotionally be able to walk you out of what's happening, like to be able to walk you through it. And a lot of the times the kids, because it's their life, it's like, don't worry about it. I already understand what's going on. Or, like you do have to know as a social worker or as a therapist or whatever, how to guide a kid through that type of trauma. But in the moment, you're like, I can't believe you have that kind of trauma.
Yeah.
And it's something that I have to think my way through. Okay, what are my next steps with this client? But they're already like in it. And it's like, look, I'm past that. I just need to be able to get enroll me in a different school, or I just need this, I just need that. Like, I already understand that this part of my life is messed up. This is what I need you to help me with. And I'm like, no, this stuff needs to be addressed as well, because like just putting it off to the side and then managing the other parts of your life, like it's going to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because they live that life and they're used to it. And when they talk to you about it, you're like shocked because it's something new and you're trying to process it to help them. And they're like, I'm past that. Look, I got this, that, and the other. Like, the girl that was talking to you about her friend, it's like, it's not just, now we're talking about what kind of household is she in? What is her mother going through? How it's impacting the child. Not only they're wanting to possibly kill themselves, but okay, so they don't now. So how do you support them now?
I know.
Because they're keeping themselves out of that part, but like, how do you do wraparound services to help them so that they don't fall back into that? Because you can't change the mama.
Yeah.
In most cases, as a teacher, you can report things, but that's not going to remove her from the household. Just some statements. That's not going to do it.
Yeah.
So now what? You know what I'm saying? It's, these kids have a lot more going on than.
That's the reason why, like, when you say that, as a teacher, I've accepted the responsibility of trying to be a soft ear.
Yeah.
And giving them, I guess, some language for them to be like, you know, like, don't let it beat you up. You know, like, use this as, you know, like, an opportunity to grow, because you don't understand right now. And if you, the more you don't understand, the more other things are going to impact you. Like, you're going to become a shell of a person, like, because you are protecting yourself. So when I have conversations with the kids, I try to, like, let them know, like, this is what's going to separate you from other people, but you have to use this opportunity to grow. If not, you're going to just become a product of your environment. And, you know, sometimes they understand, but it's very difficult for them, for the message to keep being reinforced, because they only see me for so long. And if they don't have anybody else in the environment, just like you said in a previous episode, how your mother used religion to try to, like, deter you from bad decision making. And the people were more impactful than that word. Yeah. So for them, like, you know, their environment is going to be way more impactful than my word if I don't figure out something for them to be like, oh, okay.
So if you say it to me today, is it going to really impact me if for 6 additional months I'm getting this other message from over here? Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
It is. So I guess I'm just keep trying to figure it out, but I am hoping this is my last season.
You hope that we gonna salute you and say thank you for your service?
Yes, I am.
But you know, maybe you're supposed to, this new person has a whole different, like, not to sentence you to years upon years, but to say, you as this person, you're impacting this new grade of students in a different way. And maybe it's necessary. I mean, until you can find a way to teach other teachers how to see things the way you do. Yeah. Maybe that's your next step.
You know, I don't like, okay, so the biggest gripe I have out of this is that I have to go to a building. And I don't want to go to a building because, to me, it takes away the flexibility of me. Like, I really enjoyed the life I had before, like us walking 3 times a day, having lunch a couple times out the week, you know, being home when the kids arrived, having, like, short conversations without being rushed. And, like, it's like, now I got to, like, take all that energy to work to get pummeled by groups of kids that feel like they can say any and everything to me because I'm in this place and I'm supposed to just accept it.
Hey. Hey. So, no details given, but I understand. Like, John, you definitely, like, yesterday I picked him up from work. And I'm like, you know, he got in the car and it was like, somebody really did pummel you. Like, they took you out the game. And usually that's not who you are. And so when he was talking to me about how he had to address one kid and let the kid know, you know, who he used to be or how he used to think. Like, if you would have caught me a couple years ago, this situation would have been different. Look, when I say I cackled for a good amount of time based on that conversation, I get it, but I think that who you are now is so much more impactful on these kids than who you were a couple years ago. So I'm glad that wasn't the John that kid met.
You know what's so crazy is that he allowed me to get immature. and what's
he allowed me.
Yeah, like it was like, and this is the kid that told me, but you're supposed to be the adult, right? Because
said that to you.
Yeah. Like I was like, what? And it kind of brought me back down. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be this person, but it's so difficult to not default when you feel like you're being threatened. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dang, it did. It humbled me, and I was like, dang, I'm supposed to be the adult. And now this was another occasion when he said that, but he's right. I'm supposed to be the adult, and trying to get to that point where I'm watching this kid that can't communicate effectively because he's so disrespectful with words that the entire environment is like, golly. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can get that way, but why? And to like, I know that someday I'm going to be able to it's okay, man. Just let it out.
Let out your sadness and your anger.
Yeah, at some point, but
but yesterday was if you would have caught me 2 years ago.
No, so that's crazy. No, that happened actually like on Monday.
Okay.
But yesterday, the afternoon, a kid said, "Shut the F up," and he said he wasn't talking to me. He said he was talking to another student that he wasn't talking to, but he was all of a sudden talking to him. It really hurt my feelings. I was like, what did you say? He said, I wasn't talking to you. And I didn't say that. I said, shut up.
I promise kids are so dumb, but they think that they are coming up with for real, like reasonable.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it hurt my feelings because I was just overall every day was really good. And then I just realized that I was tired. And I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I could have handled it differently, because I did end up calling his mother. And, she was disappointed in him. And I'm like, that's the problem with me now, is that I don't know how to establish a boundary without sounding like a grouch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell him, I'm like, I don't want to raise my voice, but you guys going to have to recognize when somebody's really helping you and how to, turn the switch off from your disrespect, because
hey, turn that part off.
I know, at least because I said, a lot of times the kids will say things they'll say, I said, shut the up. And I'm like, what does shut the up mean? It was like, I didn't say it. I was like, can you tell your mama that? No. Well, you can't say that in here. Yeah, if you can't say something to your mother, you can't say it in here. And just trying to get them to understand, I know you're going to do this with your friends, but in here, you need to be able to turn it on and off. And I'm for them to be able to receive that message is still you just trying to control me. What? What? No, I'm not. I'm really trying to get you. I want you to be good at whatever you're going to do later through your language.
Yeah.
And sometimes giving them that patience, it runs really thin sometimes. And you're like, dang. So now I feel like I have to go apologize to this kid for calling his mother and letting him know that I know that you really didn't mean it. He meant it, but he didn't mean it the way that I took it, because inside of me said he wouldn't have said that outside.
Yeah. He wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have.
But I don't know if it requires an apology so much as it requires a debrief. If this is,
maybe I shouldn't use apology so much as a debrief for sure.
Let's just talk about what happened, why it happened, and how we can control it next time, how we can avoid it next time. But to apologize for making someone accountable for their behavior, that to me is not, that is making the boundary blurry as well. Because you remember when we years and years and years ago, you had gotten into it with our nephew, and he was like, it's okay, you just gonna apologize later.
He did.
And then it meant that entire interaction lost any meaning or importance, or And I don't want that for you.
Yeah.
And I do find that, sometimes you be like, I went back and I had to apologize.
I'm apologizing for my behavior because I'm supposed to be the adult, and I want to show them that if an adult responds this way, you don't have to respond the same way you've been responding.
Well, and I agree. Like, if you raise your voice and that's not really how you interact with them, I understand that. Mm-hmm. Because it also teaches them that it's okay to apologize for your behavior when you're out of line. But in that case, when you were they knew that was a possible consequence.
But see, I even looked at that. I was like, what could I have done differently? I was like, look, I could have said, hey, just apologize. Mm-hmm.
Look, but then would he have doubled down and said, but I wasn't even talking to you?
But see, as the adult, I'm supposed to figure out a way for him to be accountable versus bringing his parent in, because it's like I ran out of options. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call the parent.
And you can easily say, there are a couple of options. You can either apologize for what was obviously an inappropriate comment, or we could discuss it with your parents so then maybe they can explain to you how it was.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I could have had that patience.
But you didn't give the two options. You just went to
because I was already burnt out.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is it.
It's Friday.
It was.
I'm about to give it up to the ghost at this point. I'm calling the parent. And then I understand that. But yeah, I wouldn't apologize though. I would definitely say, let's debrief what happened so we could be clear.
Definitely. I'm definitely gonna do that. Like I said, sometimes I use apology in the wrong way, but when I do use it, I'm only talking about the way that I performed.
When it was inappropriate. Yeah. What you did in this case wasn't inappropriate.
No, I'm saying I wish I would have had a little more patience.
Yeah.
Hey, chill out, please. Please.
But no, I get it. Mm-hmm. That little last bit. But yeah, I get that. I understand.
Yeah, so I guess moving forward, I think we have less than 9 weeks of school left, and I think 8 Fridays. Seven Fridays.
Count them out.
Because we out on that Thursday. Well, the kids are out on Thursday. But yeah, I've decided to do summer school, and I'm going to be doing 5th grade, and I'm responsible for math and English. So I've already thought about, okay, if this is going to be my last season, I am going to totally pre-plan those 20 days to try to make sure that they're completely prepared for 5th grade or 6th grade, whatever grade they're going to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But not only that, I wanted to incorporate a lot of character building, moral education that they've already got, but I don't want them to think that just do it in a school year. This is something you should be practicing every day, like integrity, compassion, and things like that. I feel like if kids really know what those words mean, they could have better practices in their life. The word that I really believe in is integrity. If nobody's around, do they think John is going to do the right thing? Mm-hmm. And that's what I believe in. I want everybody to know, look, I really consider everything. And that's what I used to think I did before. But now I realize, I don't want anybody to ever think that I lied about anything. Mm-hmm. I want them to know, I'm a man of my word. And not only that, by showing the kids, I told you, they'll lie about anything. And I'm like, I just watched you do it.
That's what be killing me though.
I didn't even
see your eyeballs, you looking. They've but I didn't do it.
I know. And I'm like, look, I told them, I was like, kids typically lie because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble. I was like, you're not getting in trouble. I'm trying to correct your behavior. Just say my bad. Or it won't happen again. Something, but when you lie, it's you double. I just saw you do it, and now you're a liar. Everybody, dang, everybody saw you do it. Now, you want to grow up and he lied.
He be lying all the time.
Yep. And I told him, I was like, nobody like liars and thieves. And there's this one kid was he said, Mr. Lewis, I don't be stealing nothing, but I take what I want.
Wait. Definition, please.
What do you do? Come on, man.
Definition, please, sir.
Yeah, so just talking to the kids, I feel like the information that they have, it makes me think they are a lot more aware of things than I was. But they're moving way too fast. Mm-hmm. And I hope that at some point that they understand what I was trying to do. But I wanted to talk about these group of girls. It's a group of girls and it's one guy, and I'm supposed to give them a shout out.
Okay.
Daniela, Liliana, Amariana, and Jordan. Now these kids asked me to give them a shout out, and I wanted to give them a shout out just because they are really some good kids. And it was like, can you help us prepare for interviews because we want to work? So I printed out some questions and I said, hey, come up with the best answers you can come up with and talk to each other. Y'all come up with the ultimate answer. And you just learn it. And it was like, well, can you access these questions? And I was like, yeah. So I'm asking them the questions, and I thought they were going to be, one of them was really shy about it, but the other ones was trying to create, like, I guess BS, and I'm like, you don't have to
already early in the game.
And I said, look, you just want to show them that you're capable of doing the job. A lot of people your age, they can weed you out really quick. But if you sound like you're about your business, and if you don't know the answer, say, hey, or the question, understand the question. You say, could you say it in a different way? Because I've never heard it that way. And it was like, oh, I guess that's a nice thing to say. And so we're just going through the questions, and I'm just like looking at them like, I'm like, look, the better you guys are at interviews, the better your jobs will become. But you got to have to like this work ethic of always doing your best, because people promote people that look like they're doing their best. And listening to them, I felt like if anybody's going to get anything, they know that I'm willing to do whatever. I said, I'll give you all my answers and you can just use them for yourself. And to watch them, like, to want that, it made me feel really good. As a teacher that, you want to give kids something. And like I said, these were pretty good kids anyway, so to help them, it made me feel good. And shout out to them again.
Shout out to them.
But anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No.
No doubt.
I was thinking about my students who had really big impacts on me, but no. Not in a bad way, but just to say, your kids, the current, they're enough. They're the ones we should be shouting out. So, hey, you guys.
Yes. Shout out to you guys. And thank you so much for helping me become a better parent. And I told them, too. I was like, y'all making me a better parent because I know that my kids don't act like you guys, but you're showing me ways that I can become better because, like, certain aspects that they're missing.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that my kids have it. Like, so to me, I feel like they keep me honest. They do. So shout out to all of you guys. I love you guys on everything I love. But y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you.
Boom.
Be great on purpose.
Boom.